2 days ago, I got a call or email, a text on Facebook, and someone said, Carl, are you interested in coming to give an 8-minute talk on Thursday? I said, really, about what? About the miseducation of Americans on international relations. So tell me more. Well, we need you to give this presentation because we know you travel the world and places, and we want Americans to have an overview of what this looks like. So what do you need? Well, I need your presentation by 2 p.m. Okay. So then I'm thinking, miseducation of Americans on international relations, what do I talk about? Do I talk about times in Asia, Europe, Middle East, Brazil? What do I do? What would you do? I tried to use my helpline, but it didn't work. But now here I am. Well, so what we came up with is a discussion about the United States of American centricity. You know, we have kids, we have students, we have business people who may have not traveled or conducted business outside of the United States. So I started thinking about the miseducation, and it said, what does that mean? It means we look at things from our perspective. Then I started thinking about me when my first opportunity to interact with someone global was in school, right? It was somebody who came from Mexico. That's all I knew. I grew up in the Old West End, through 4th and Elementary, then the Macomb High School. Most of my interaction were with people who looked like me. My elementary school was 99% African American. So of course, my worldview was in the Old West End. Until I went to Macomb and I met Strunks and Warnecks and Trabilskis. That didn't happen in my neighborhood. But as I talk about the worldview, I did have one common theme as an American citizen. For some reason, without even knowing, even though I was in school, I was proud to be American. I would hear USA, USA, right? Even today, in the Olympics, you all got, how did you feel when you heard USA? Were you excited?
Oh yeah.
USA, USA. That's our perspective, correct? So our worldview and my worldview, when I deal with people who we are, we look at the United States today. When I think about business, often many of us think about the United States, be it Florida, Ohio, New York, California. Americans tend to have a worldview that's unidirectional. I'm that way today. When I first went over to Europe in 1995, I said, I'm American. I'll be coming over, they'll like me, won't they? You know, I can walk tall, they'll love me. I'm American. In most of the case that was because we brought a sense of capability and value to the table, right? So we had that piece, but I had that view that I, as an American, when I traveled the world, was better than thou. You know, how did I get this view? Well, of course, every day in school, as an American, we listen to the Star Spangled Banner, correct? We pledge allegiance. Not only did we sing God Bless America, but around the 70s, we wanted everything, what, made in America. In 1984, my boy came up and said, born in what?
The USA.
That's right. So, excuse me, as an American who didn't like world history, but it was a valuable course for me, my thoughts and my processes, we were a superpower, right? We had a strong military, we were faster, stronger, we were richer, but we were also unilingual. What? We spoke what? What did we speak? You think that's crazy? I came back from the Middle East last month, and someone asked me, earlier this year, and one of my colleagues with MBA, one with a master's degree, said, do they speak American? I ain't joking. I do not joke. But what happens, though, when we think about that, and as we dominated the world in the Cold War and whatever may happen, we know that shift happens in time. And for me, shift happened. Not just because I have an opportunity to interact with individuals who taught me more than I ever think about, but then historical things shape the mindset of Americans, correct? But the question, how deep did it get into our psyche about who we are as an organization, as a people? Well, we all are proud to be Americans, USA, USA, right? Everyone's here. Born in the USA, USA, USA. We had a sense of entitlement, in some cases, Americans. I still have it now and then, I can't lie. You know, walking in Lebanon at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's the sense of arrogance, right? Or pride or confidence. But let's talk about what shift took place, the transition, what we think about and why it's important. When you think about www, what do you think? Can I hear something? Technology, correct? Friedman talked about the world became flatter and flatter instantaneously with the development of the World Wide Web technology. It led to a sense of globalization that where my son could play with somebody's Smash Mouth brothers on the internet, right? Technology, globalization. I was able to perform designs with Europe, China, Brazil over the web. But then again, another shift happened that changed the nature of who we are, or how we operate, how we move, how we conduct business, how we perform military services. 9/11, that's a part of a shift. It's impacting us today. Today is such that this 21st century depression that we're feeling right now is a direct result of that. You don't believe it, but it is. So what has it given us today? And why I'm saying this is because Americans from K to 20 should understand this shift and understand what the reset economy has done to who we are and our ability to compete. You know, so I said, miseducation of Americans. Can I talk about that, or will I talk too much? Will it be too deep at TED? Like TED's supposed to be fun and enlightening, correct? Okay, but I have to talk about the reset economy. Did it reset? It reset. And also we have something called a new normal. I talk about these things in sustainability forum all the time, new normal. But here's the best thing for me. I asked one of my friends and colleagues who's accomplished. I said, what is brick to you? What do you think they say? Can you tell me what they say brick is? They said brick was maybe a part of a building. I went down to the basketball court and just taking a survey and asked one of my good friends who I grew up with, I said, what do you think about when you think of brick? Oh, I think of when I could buy one down the street for about $100. A little different of a brick, depending on your perspective. But who knows what brick is right now? What is brick doing to our economy today? What's it mean? What's it mean?
Brazil, Russia, India, China.
And we'll talk about what it's doing for us consuming resources, where if we keep going and don't adopt some of the policies that Dr. C, where you at, Dr. C, you still here? Our renewable energy strategy that we all see $6 a gallon for gas in the future because brick is growing. But another thing I talked about, when you talk about MENA, 2 words in one sentence, you think about spring and MENA. What does that mean from an education to our Americans? What does it mean today? Anybody want to take a guess? What does MENA? I'm not trying to give them education or a lecture, but if you put spring and MENA in the same sentence, you'll think about what happened the last week, the reason why my trip to the Middle East is postponed for another month, right? You'll think about the impact of the Arab Spring in the Middle East and North Africa, right? Spring and MENA. It talks about the Arab Spring that's taking place, that's driving a democratic revolution that allowed people to be what? Like who? USA. USA. Now finally, as I continue to grow and think about educating our people and competing, competition, capability, capacity to make sure we stay that superpower as Americans, we need to understand all of these things. And understand that you think about 2.5 billion people in the world live off $2 a day. What do they call? Can I get another question? Can I answer another question? Anybody? The bottom of the period economic people, that's about 2.5 billion people who are learning to go and live in our world. But let's talk about why we continue to move forward to ensure that our people, the Americans, change what we need to do. As we had a unidirectional look, to make sure we're competitive in the world, to ensure that our education where it needs to be, we need to adopt a multi-dimensional, multi-directional look on the world, in and out. Finally, as I close, the key to ensuring that we can compete in the future for our children from K to 20, K to 21, our mindset is a shift to thinking from right to left and having one from global to local. So we can do one thing, not look at where we want to be, where we are, we'll look at where we could be. USA, USA, thank you, USA.